Stop everything you are doing right now. Let go of what is in your hands, lower the volume of everything around you, and listen with your soul to what I am about to tell you. Because what is reaching your ears at this very moment is no coincidence. It was not the algorithm, it was not chance. It was the Almighty who stopped everything in heaven and said, "Go take this, the prophetic word to my child. For they cried out last night, and my answer can wait no longer." If you are hearing this, I declare to you by the Holy Spirit, your trial ends today. The plans that were woven against you in the darkness have been cast down right now. The enemy has been cast down before you even finished listening to this message, because Saint Benedict's prayer, the prayer of victory, is being raised over your life like a shield of fire, and every trap laid in your path is being crushed beneath your feet. I know what you have been living through. I know the weight you carried to bed last night. I know the tears you swallowed at dinner so that no one in your house would notice how much you were breaking inside. You have been praying, vessel of the Lord. You have been fasting, you have been crying out. And yet it seems like the sky is made of bronze. It seems like your prayers hit the ceiling and bounce back. It seems like every door you push, the adversary has already arrived first and locked it. It seems that every time you lift your head to breathe a little, another wave comes, another piece of bad news, another bill, another betrayal, another illness, another silence from those who should be by your side. And then, deep in your heart, you began to ask yourself something that hurts even to think about. Has the Almighty forgotten me? Did I do something wrong? Am I no longer chosen? I came here today to tell you, in the authority of the name that is above every name, the Almighty has not forgotten you. The Almighty has never forgotten you for a single second. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. You are not losing. You are crossing the last valley before the greatest victory in the wilderness that your life has ever seen. And that is why this, the prophetic word, is reaching you today. What is happening in your life has a name, has an origin, and has an expiration date. These attacks that seem to come from every side, these doors that close, these people who walk away, these nights when you wake up at 3 in the morning with your heart racing without understanding why. This is not just fatigue, this is not just bad luck. This is spiritual warfare, and those who are at war need armor. Those who are at war need the key to salvation. Today, the Almighty sent me to place in your hands one of the oldest, most powerful and most forgotten keys by the modern church, Saint Benedict's prayer of victory, the prayer that crushes the head of the serpent and makes the adversary retreat screaming from the territory that belongs to the children of the Most High. But before I deliver this prayer to you in the Spirit, I need to tell you something that has been weighing on me since I started recording this. You did not arrive here by chance. You did not open this video among so many others because your finger slipped on the screen. There is something happening in the spiritual world that is calling you. You feel it. You feel it when you enter the church and your chest tightens. You feel it when you pass certain people and your spirit recoils without you understanding why. You have been dreaming of strange things. You have been waking up with the feeling that you need to take care of your home, your family, your descendants. And this restlessness will not go away because it is holy. It comes from above. What many people see and ignore, you are seeing and feeling in your soul because you were set apart for a mission of protection that few can carry. And that is exactly why the adversary is making his final attack on your life right now. Because he knows who you are before you even fully discover it. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you titled, How to Know If You Are Saved for Judgment Day, a material that the Almighty placed in my heart so that children like you, who carry the weight of an entire family on their backs, can have absolute certainty without any doubt that they are inside the ark, that their name is written in the book of life, and that their lineage is covered by the blood. The link is pinned right at the top of the comments, and also in the description of this video just below. Just click. I have been receiving messages every day from brothers and sisters who cried the first night after reading this book, because they finally understood what was happening in their spiritual lives, and they finally managed to sleep in peace knowing that they are sealed, they and their house. This content could be taken down at any moment, and I cannot guarantee it will be available tomorrow, so do not let this call go unanswered. Get it now, read it tonight, and then come back here and write in the comments, Amen, I believe in my victory. This seal must be given, vessel of the Lord, because what is sealed in the visible, the Almighty confirms in the invisible. Now let's return to what matters, because the Spirit wants to go deeper. I need you to understand who Saint Benedict was and why the prayer that bears his name has the power to tear down strongholds that nothing else has been able to tear down in your life. Saint Benedict was not just a monk. Saint Benedict was a man who, while still young, abandoned the riches of the world, abandoned the pleasures of the flesh, abandoned the comfort of family, and descended into a cave in the middle of nowhere to surrender himself entirely to the Almighty. He lived alone for 3 years, listening to the voice of the Lord, being tested, being refined, being polished like gold in a furnace. And it was during that time, in the midst of the silence of his wilderness, that the Almighty began to place in the hands of that man a spiritual authority that few saints in history have received, an authority so great that the tempter himself began to pursue him personally, sending his disciples to try to poison him, attack him, bring him down. And look what happened. Every time they tried to give him poison to drink, he would make the sign of the cross and the chalice would break in his hands. Every time they tried to set traps, the traps would turn against the enemies themselves. Why? Because the man had learned something that few Christians learn today. He had learned to speak with authority against the darkness. He had learned to use the name of the Lord as a sword and a shield at the same time. And it was from this authority that the prayer of victory was born, the prayer that is carved on the medal of Saint Benedict to this day, with those mysterious letters that many people carry around their necks without even knowing what they mean. Today I will tell you, each letter of that medal is a fiery arrow against the adversary. Each letter is a prophetic declaration that makes the demon retreat from the territory of your home, from the territory of your work, from the territory of your marriage, from the territory of your mind. When you pray Saint Benedict's prayer with faith, you are not just repeating ancient words. You are taking a two-edged sword forged by centuries of prayer of the Church, and you are bringing that sword down upon the head of the serpent that was coiled around your life. And it is exactly here that I need to stop for a second, because the Spirit is showing me something now. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, Vessel of the Lord, because while you listen to me, a voice inside your chest whispers, "But am I ready? Am I standing with the Almighty? Am I truly sealed, or do I just look sealed?" Do not ignore this question. It did not come from you, it came from above. Go to the link pinned at the top of the comments, and in the description right now, download the book, read it today, and comment, "This word is for me to seal this decision before heaven, before the thief comes to steal." Now let me show you what is happening in the invisible while you hear this word. There is a spiritual principle that few preachers are talking about today, but which is written from end to end in the Bible. This principle is as follows. Everything that happens in your life in the visible started first in the invisible. That financial problem that is suffocating you, it started in the invisible. That fight that appeared out of nowhere inside the house, without a clear reason, it started in the invisible. That illness that the doctors cannot explain, it started in the invisible. That feeling of discouragement that falls upon you every late afternoon for no apparent reason, that desire to stay quiet, to not want to talk to anyone, to doubt everything, this also started in the invisible. And that is why so many Christians today are trapped. They are trying to solve in the visible a problem that needs to be solved in the invisible. They are trying to put out the fire with a wet cloth when they should be shutting off the gas valve. They are taking medicine for the symptom when they should be performing surgery on the root. Saint Benedict's prayer of victory acts exactly on the root. It does not go to the symptom, it goes to the gate. It does not negotiate with the demon, it expels it. It does not ask for permission, it takes possession. When you pronounce this prayer with the faith that moves mountains, something happens in the heavenly regions. Angels are dispatched. Demonic thrones that were established over your house, over your family, over your finances, these thrones begin to tremble. Chains that have bound you for 20, 30, 40 years begin to break, and you do not even need to see it, because what the Almighty does, He does even while you are sleeping. Divine providence acts in silence, acts in the early hours, acts while you drink coffee and when you least expect it. The way out opens before your eyes and you can only cry and say, "Lord, I don't even know how, but you opened it." But I need to warn you of something very serious now. And I ask that you do not skip this part, because it is life or death for your next step. There is a reason why many people pray Saint Benedict's prayer and see no result at all. There is a reason why many people carry the medal around their necks their whole lives and continue to be defeated every day. And the reason is this: prayer without faith is just noise. Prayer without understanding is just letters. Prayer without holiness is just ritual. And what the Almighty is calling you to today is not to repeat a formula. The Almighty is calling you to enter into a dimension of spiritual authority that will turn your life inside out. You do not just need to say the words, you need to be an incarnate word. You need to start living in such a way that when the demon sees your name written in the agenda of darkness, he orders it to be crossed out, because he knows that every time he tries to touch you, he will return weaker than he came. And I know you are tired. I know you have tried so many things, read so many books, went to so many meetings, did so many fasts, and it seems like nothing gave the result you expected. I am not here to give you another empty promise. I am here to deliver a word that was breathed from the throne, and this word is, your night is ending. The sun of restoration is already rising on the horizon of your life. What they stole from you, the Almighty is sending the angel of replacement to fetch with interest and heavenly monetary correction. That person who walked away from you, either they will return repentant, or the Almighty will bring someone much better, the size of the promise, not the size of the sadness. That project that died in your hands, the Almighty will resurrect in a way that no one will be able to explain. And when that happens, everyone who mocked you, everyone who doubted, everyone who spoke behind your back, will have to bow their heads and recognize that your God is the God who lifts the needy from the dust and seats the humiliated with princes. But for this to happen, you need to break something first. You need to break the invisible agreement that was made against your life without your consent. There is a level of spirituality that few Christians reach, vessel of the Lord, and at that level you discover an impressive truth. Many of the battles you are fighting today did not start with you. They come from behind. They come from words that were spoken over your family generations ago. They come from doors that were opened by your ancestors, whom you never knew. They come from spiritual pacts that no one told you about, but which remain active in the invisible. And as long as these pacts are not broken, you can pray on your knees your whole life, and you will always feel a force pulling you back, as if you were running with leaden feet, as if every achievement came with too high a price, as if you could never enjoy what you built with so much effort. And that is why, with all the urgency of my spirit, I need to tell you now. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you. Vessel of the Lord, hear what I am saying. The book, How to Know If You Are Saved for Judgment Day, is not an ordinary book. It was not written to entertain you. It was written under the direction of the Spirit to place in your hands the exact tools you need to identify where the spiritual breaches are in your home, to break the old pacts that were made by your grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents whom you never even knew, and to seal your descendants under the blood of the Lord for 1,000 generations. Your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, all will reap because of what you are capable of closing with the Almighty starting today. The link is pinned at the top of the comments and just below in the description. Click, download, and open it tonight with a candle lit before the Almighty, or simply with a broken heart. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because there are things that if you delay, the adversary collects for the delay and the window closes. Comment now, I believe in my victory to seal this decision before the celestial spheres. Now come with me in this last part, because the Spirit wants to close a door and open a window in your life today. I am going to teach you how to position the prayer of victory within your daily life, because it is no use having the key in your hand if you do not know which lock to open. The first thing you need to understand is the right moment. Saint Benedict's prayer acts like a sentinel. You do not use it only when the attack arrives, vessel of the Lord. You use it before the attack arrives. You leave home in the morning, and before even stepping outside, you raise the prayer over your head, over your family, over your gate, over your car, over your job. You say, Lord, may the cross be your light. May the serpent not be my guide. Depart from me, Satan. Never suggest vain things to me, because what you offer me is poison, and I only drink from the water that comes from the Lamb. When you do this in the morning, vessel of the Lord, you are not just leaving home. You are entering a dome. You are placing a mantle of protection over your day that causes the plans of darkness to break in the air before they even get close to you. The distracted driver who was going to hit you will break 3 seconds before. The betrayal that was going to be architected against you at work, someone will accidentally discover and warn you. The mail package with the bad news will disappear on the way. You will not even know everything that the Almighty diverted from you that day, and perhaps only in heaven will you discover it. The second thing you need to understand is the right place. There are corners of your house, vessel of the Lord, that need to be taken. There is that room where fights always happen. You know which one? There is that kitchen where every argument starts out of nowhere. There is that room where you can never be at peace. It seems like the air is different there. You think this is a coincidence. It is not. The adversary establishes support points inside houses, and as long as these points are not undone, peace will never truly reign in that portion of your house. Take the prayer of victory, walk through every corner, declare out loud with firmness, without fear. This house is not territory of the darkness. This house is territory of the Most High. The enemy has been cast down. The plans against my family were crushed beneath my feet. I hold the gates of this house firmly in the name of the Lord. And when you do this, vessel of the Lord, something changes in the air. Your family starts breathing differently. The children start sleeping better. The arguments decrease without anyone understanding why. The phone starts ringing with good news, because what was locking the sky over your house was cut by the sword of the prophetic word. The third thing, and this is the most important of all, is the right time. Vessel of the Lord, I want to teach you something that few know. 3 in the morning is not just a difficult time because the body is tired. 3 in the morning is a time of war. It is a time when many demons circulate looking for unprotected houses. That is why so many people wake up at this time feeling anguish, weight in the chest, fear for no reason, crying in the back of the throat. But I will give you a key. The next time you wake up at 3 or at 2 or at any strange hour of the early morning, do not despair. Do not turn to the side trying to go back to sleep. Do not pick up the phone to distract yourself. Get up, kneel by the side of the bed, and in a low but firm voice declare the prayer of victory. Observe what happens. The weight will leave, peace will descend, sleep will return. Because you will have done what the demon hates most, you will have turned his time into your time. The time he chose to scare you became the time you expelled him from your room. And I know what you are thinking now. You are thinking, but I have already tried so many things. Will it work this time? Vessel of the Lord, hear what I am telling you in the authority that the Almighty gave me. It is not the prayer that gives power. It is not the medal that gives power. It is not the ritual that gives power. Who gives the power is the name of the Lord that is behind all of this, and this name never fails. This name broke chains on the cross. This name descended into the abyss. This name took the keys of death. This name rose on the 3rd day, and this name is above every authority, principality, and power. When you raise the prayer of victory, you are not trusting in a formula. You are trusting in a God who already won before you started fighting. The war is already won, vessel of the Lord. You just need to occupy the victory in the wilderness that has already been conquered for you at Golgotha. And look what will start to happen in your life when you start applying this. The people who spoke ill of you behind your back will start to disappear from your path without you needing to argue with anyone. The enemy has been cast down and takes with him the tongues he used against you. Those doors that were jammed at work will start to open without explanation. You will enter a meeting, and the key to salvation will be in your hands. They will offer you things you did not even ask for. They will remember you in places where you were not even mentioned. Divine providence is like this. It works while you sleep. It negotiates while you pray. It moves mountains while you sing a praise in the shower. Your health will start to be restored. I am not saying that you will not need a doctor. I am not saying that you will not need medicine, because the Almighty also uses these means. I am saying that what was out of control, what the exams did not explain, that pain that no one discovered the origin of, will start to disappear, because the invisible root was cut. The doctors will look at each other without understanding. They will call it spontaneous remission. But you will know in the intimacy of your heart that it was the restoration acting, that it was the Lord who said, "Arise and walk." Your marriage, vessel of the Lord, if it is in crisis today, will know a new chapter. That hardened heart will soften. Those harsh words will decrease. That coldness will give way to an affection that you have not had for years. Because while you were fighting in the visible, someone in the invisible was blowing fire in your midst to separate you from the children, separate from the inheritance, separate from the promise. But when the prayer of victory passes over that home, the breath of the adversary dies, and the breath of the Spirit descends. Hand your children, vessel of the Lord, your children. You who have lost sleep thinking about that child who walked away, that daughter who went down the wrong path, that grandchild who is in a dangerous friendship, pay attention now. The prayer of victory is a prayer of descendants. It does not stop at you, it continues, it travels in the bloodlines. It seeks your child wherever they are. It goes through locked doors, goes through dark apartments, goes through clubs, goes through any place where they have gotten themselves into, and carries a word. Return to the Father's house. Return to the bosom of the family. You were not made for this. And there will be a day when you will be washing dishes or hanging clothes on the clothesline, and the phone will ring, and on the other side will be the voice you have not heard in months saying, "Mom, Dad, I need to talk." And you will fall right there in the middle of the kitchen, with the wet dishes in your hand, crying, because you will understand in that second that divine providence worked while you could only cry. But for all of this to happen, vessel of the Lord, I need to tell you one last thing, and this is perhaps the hardest to hear. You will need to forgive. I know it hurt. I know it caused pain. I know that person does not deserve it. But forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. As long as you hold a grudge, you are giving an address to the adversary. You are saying, "You can come in, the door is open." And it is no use praying the prayer of victory every day if you are leaving a window wide open in the back of your heart because of someone who perhaps does not even remember you anymore. Today, now, in the silence that exists between my words, I want you to say in a low voice the name of that person and for you to declare, "I deliver you into the hands of the Almighty. I no longer carry the debt you have with me. May the Almighty be the judge, but I let go. I let go so that I can receive. I let go so that my victory may come." And when you do this, vessel of the Lord, something heavy falls from your shoulders. You did not even know how much you were carrying until you started to let go. It is at that moment, when you are light, when you are clean, when you are ready, that heaven begins to pour over your head what had been dammed up for a long time. Promotion that was stuck, healing that was pending, reconciliation that seemed impossible, debt that seemed infinite, door that seemed locked forever. Everything starts to move because you took your weight out of the way. And that is when the prayer of victory is fulfilled in your life, not just as a word, but as a reality. That is when you look back and realize the enemy has been cast down. The traps that were set against you did not materialize. The tongues that rose against you were silenced. The doors that seemed locked opened. The stones that seemed insurmountable were removed. And the God who promised fulfilled, because he is not a man to lie, nor a son of man to repent. I need to tell you one more thing before finishing, vessel of the Lord, and this thing will be marked in your spirit. You are not here today by chance. You did not jump from video to video until you fell on this one by luck. You were led. There is someone in heaven interceding for you at this very moment, and this intercession attracted the prophetic word to you. It could be your grandmother, who is already passed, and still whispers your name before the throne today. It could be your mother who prays every day hidden in the room, with the door closed, thinking that no one hears. It could be a sister from the church who places your name daily on the altar without you even knowing she does that. Someone is praying for you, and that person's prayer opened heaven so that this word could reach here. Do not waste it. Do not go through this and forget tomorrow. Take the prayer, write it on a sheet of paper, stick it on the refrigerator, stick it on the bathroom mirror, stick it on the car dashboard, and say it every day until it becomes breath in your mouth. And I want to tell you one more thing, vessel of the Lord, before closing this word. There are people listening to this today who are seriously thinking about giving up. It is not an exaggeration. It is not a word loose in the air. There are people who looked at the ceiling last night and thought, "I don't think I can take it anymore." If that person is you, pay attention. The Almighty sent me to stop here, in the middle of this message, and look into your eyes by the Spirit. Do not give up. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever. What seems like the end is the darkest curve of the path, and on the other side of the curve there is light, there is a party, there is a set table, there is family gathered, there is your name being called to receive what seemed lost. The plans of darkness to take you from this world before your time were crushed at this very instant, in the name of the Lord. What spoke in your ear that there was no way out was a lie. It was always a lie. And today this lie has been cast down. The way out is open. Its name is the Lord, and he awaits you with open arms. Call someone you trust today. If there is no one, write here in the comments, because there are brothers and sisters waiting to pray for you. You are not alone. You were never alone. And if you feel at this exact moment that this word pierced your chest, that this message pierced your shell, that something inside you is breaking while I speak, I ask you, with everything that exists inside me, write now in the comments, "This word is for me, I believe in my victory." This comment is not just a response to a video. This comment is your seal of victory. It is your amen before heaven. It is your signature before the Almighty that you are receiving this promise. And when the fulfillment comes, and it will come, I want you to come back here and tell me. Tell the story, write in the comments, leave it registered to strengthen the faith of other vessels who will arrive after you needing the same miracle. And to close this word with a golden key, I look into your eyes again by the Spirit, and I say, you were not chosen to lose. You were not born to live defeated. You were not taken from your mother's womb to cry your whole life. You were called to reign in life through Christ the Lord. You were set apart to be the head and not the tail, to be above and not below, to lend and not to borrow. And that is exactly why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, How to Know If You Are Saved for Judgment Day. This book is your next The Way Out. It is the next The Key to Salvation. It is the material that will deepen everything you heard today and much more. The link is pinned at the top of the comments and in the description below this video. Click, download, and read it tonight before sleeping, in the presence of the Almighty. Tomorrow you will not wake up the same person who went to bed. This content could be taken down at any moment, so do not delay, do not postpone, do not leave it for a better time that may never come. Comment now, Amen. I receive my restoration, to seal your victory, and take this word to someone you know who is going through the wilderness too, because a word that is shared returns multiplied to the one who divided it. Until next time, vessel of the Lord, but until then, may the cross be your light, and may the serpent not be my guide. The enemy has been cast down. The restoration is already on the way. In the name of the Lord it is done, it is finished. Amen.